Hi, welcome to episode 12 of the Corner of Knit and Tea. I'm Laura, also known as Fluffy K on Ravelry, Fluffy Kira on Twitter and Instagram. The show notes for this episode can be found over at my blog, which is the Corner of Knit and Tea. And I also sell my handspun yarn in my shop on Etsy, which is the Stash Buckler Adventures in Yarn. Welcome back for episode 12. It's been kind of an exciting week here. We have the World Series going with the Royals in, woohoo! So I've been doing lots of knitting and watching lots of baseball, and it's been kind of a beautiful fall week, although we have had some warm temperatures. So, and when I look off to the corner, I am recording in front of a window, so I'm looking outside at the trees, which are turning yellow and brown, and leaves are falling, so it's definitely fall time, although Friday was almost 80 degrees, so you just never can tell in the Midwest. It's a little bit of everything. So welcome to my new viewers, and welcome to all of you who are returning. One of the other exciting things that happened this week is I started a Ravelry group, and I hope that you'll all come over there and join in. I just decided it was time to give all of the members a little bit of, or all of the viewers, a place to talk about things and chat with each other, meet each other, see each other's projects. And so we are over on Ravelry at the Corner of Knit and Tea, and I will put a link in the little blurb below this video on YouTube, as well as a link in the show notes over at the Corner of Knit and Tea. So I hope that you will join us over there. I can't wait to see you. So other than that, it's been a pretty normal week. A little bit of knitting progress, a little bit of spinning progress, and lots to show you and talk about. So I guess let's jump right in. Today's tea is an Assam. I had several people ask me if I only drink flavored teas or if I drink kind of some standard regular teas or some along the more spicy and savory. I do. I've been trying out a little bit of everything, both for reviews over on the blog and also just because I'm interested in a variety of different things. So today I picked out, this is another sample from Lana's The Little House, and it is an Assam. And I know most of you would drink this with sugar and milk. I did put sugar in mine. I didn't put milk in mine, and I've enjoyed speaking to all of you about who of the Americans drinks it the British way with sugar and milk, or how all that works. But this is, again, Lana's Little Big House, and it's their Assam. And I am sipping today in my favorite Kansas mug with Toto. And actually my favorite part about it, in case you didn't guess that I had a sense of humor, says, "Dear Dorothy, hate Oz, took the shoes, find your own way home, Toto." So, and that is one of my favorite Kansas mugs. I don't know, just they sell all sorts of Wizard of Oz merchandise here, but that is definitely my favorite. So that's an Assam in my Kansas mug. Ooh, and that is very nice, actually. I might have to try some milk in it, although not today because we're out of milk. But that is very nice. And I do love a good black tea, particularly in the morning if I need a little caffeine to get me going. Or I always use black tea if I'm going to make a hot toddy when I'm not feeling well. So I do really enjoy a black tea. It's just that I've, gotten carried away trying some of the fun blends. So yes, that is my Assam in my Kansas mug. So that moves us along to what I am wearing. Now, it's very hard to see this yarn. I am wearing the February fitted, oh, that's a little bit better, the February fitted pullover. It is a takeoff on the February Lady Sweater by Elizabeth Zimmerman, and this version is by Amy Herzog. And it is just, it's knit in, I believe I knit the body in the round, although it's just knitting in pieces, and then it adds in the sleeves just for a more fitted sweater. And I really like it. I will stand up and show you. Oh, and that shows the color much better. So yeah, it's got a little bit of shaping, and I really like this sweater. I knit it in Madeline Tosh Vintage in the Black Currant colorway. And actually I had a skein left over and I was going to show you because it shows the color better. I knit, this is the blueberry waffle hat and it's got a pom-pom on top. And actually I did the pom-pom before I had my pom-pom maker, so it was a little bit harder to do. But yes, that will show you a little bit more. It's a dark pink, pinky red, and I think then it's got a black wash over it. So you see the pops of the pinky and the red, and then it's just a real dark color. And I like it a lot. So I knit that a couple years ago for the sweater I knit a couple years ago for a Camp Loopy project, and the hat actually was just was a Harry Potter project. So, and I haven't gotten to wear it yet because I believe I knit it this spring, so I will be able to wear it this winter and it should be nice and warm. So that is what I'm sipping and what I'm wearing. So let's go to knitting. I had a really fun week. If any of you watch my Instagram feed, you probably saw a bunch of pictures. We had a little bunny construction over here. I have been knitting the Mario the Artistic Rabbit pattern by Jenna Krupar, who is Retro Lemon Studios, and actually she has a podcast, which I checked out this week. And I have been having a fabulous time. And actually, I am now done. This is bunny number 1, who you may have seen in my feed. He is done out of my early hand spun, which was kind of a worsted to bulky weight. And these were a couple of braids from Cloud Lover, and I will link that in my show notes. And so he got his little ears. I don't know if I showed you these last week or if he had these. And then he's got a little pom-pom tail, because what else would he have? So he was the first, and he was finished on Monday, I think. Sunday night, Monday. I knit him up, actually, yes, Sunday night, because I knit him up in 2 days. I knit the whole body on Saturday, and I showed you the body last weekend. And then I knit all the extra pieces and did all the assembly on Sunday, and he was ready to go. So then I started on the second one, because these are a pair of bunnies going to my friend who is having twin boys this year. So I thought she needed 2 of something that were similar but not exactly the same. So this is bunny number 2. And it is out of a slightly different hand spun. This was out of some swoosh fiber that I got as part of a club. And again, everything kind of matches, but not really. And we've got our little ears, and then we've got our little tail. And I posted several photos of these guys kind of goofing off on Instagram. And one of the comments, and it's so true, is how much personality 2 eyes and a nose add. I mean, there's no expressions, there's no mouth, but they're so fun. So yes, these are my 2 Marios, and I decided not to give them names. I figured the children can give them names when they get old enough. So those are my 2 Marios, and fantastic pattern. I will definitely knit it again. In fact, I have one more planned for Roxy, and I will show you the yarn I have planned for that. And I just really enjoyed this, and I'm very excited to send these off. So those are the boys. So I still have other projects. I have nothing else for finished objects. I still have other things that I can show you. Last week I did not show you and made a mess of talking about Groovy, which is by Jumper Cables Knitting. And if you remember, I am knitting that in the Twisted Fiber Arts, which is a gradient. It's the Aerial base, which is 2-ply fingering superwash merino, and this is the colorway Velvet. And as you can see, I'm not sure if the camera will pick up the subtlety. What happens is it was a very pale yellow, and then it goes through kind of a gold to get to this brown. And I don't know if you'll be able to tell. Oh, I think you will. Yes. So I've done the pale yellow, and now I'm into the golden on the way to the brown. And I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm working on my 7th section. So that is kind of slow, but coming along, and you can see that it's got kind of welted in sections of stockinette and reverse stockinette, which give it kind of a welted look. It will definitely need a good blocking. I am really enjoying this. I took this to the movies with me this past week, and it's a perfect potato chip, just long rows and sitting. I suspect that I will probably make this my sock club project for next month, since it is sock yarn, and try and finish it next month, because I just really, really, really want to wear this. And next month is going to be kind of busy for a variety of reasons, which I'll get into a little bit later. But yes, this is the Groovy pattern. There is a pattern for worsted weight. They also then have a fingering and lace weight pattern, and that's the one that I'm knitting. So Groovy by Jumper Cables Knitting, and that's Twisted Fiber Arts and Aerial Evolution. So I've made some progress on that. Not a ton, but some. And of course those rows are just going to keep getting longer, so it may take me a little while to see more on there. And then the next thing that I showed you are my macaroon socks. And these are for my October socks for the Stitch Addiction Personal Sock Club of 2014. And then also my knit along for the Desert Vista Dye Works knit along in the Come Knit With Us group. And last week I showed you sock number 1, which I said was totally ridiculous, comes up over the knee. Very excited about it. And this week I managed, I think last week I was partway through the foot and not through the heel yet. And this week I managed to, thanks to baseball, almost finish sock number 2. I am right at the part where the ribbing starts. In fact, the next round I'm going to start the ribbing. So I am hoping that I can finish these this evening. I went ahead and normally I knit on my signature US 1 2.25. I went ahead and switched to a circular because since I was doing increases for lots of strings, see if I can finish this. Since I was doing increases for my calf shaping, the number of stitches per needle were getting quite a bit bigger, and so I switched to magic looping it in the round, which I actually did for the ribbing at the top of the other one as well. So I expect that these will be done possibly even tonight, because there's another game tonight. Go Royals! And so then those will be done and ready to wear, which means I will have met my October deadline, and I'm super, super thrilled with these. These have been a pleasure to knit. It's the Viso base, which I believe is a merino nylon base. And the stripes have been so much fun. It's like, let's just do a couple more stripes, and I cannot tell you how many compliments I've gotten on these socks, and I haven't even worn them yet. So very, very pleased with that. And if you don't have any Desert Vista Dye Works, you should head over to her site and check out what she's got, because she's got great striping yarns. Super excited about those. And again, those are living in my Halloween bag, which I will have to make disappear this week after Halloween, but I'm still enjoying it while I can. So that means we are to sort of what's on deck. And I am trying to start, the baby gifts were sort of the last, I won't say obligation knitting, but the last thing that I needed to do before I turn my attention to holiday gifts, because the holidays are coming. And we actually, my family is Jewish, so we don't celebrate Christmas. We generally get together for Thanksgiving. I'll be going out to California for that. And we usually exchange gifts at Thanksgiving, because then we don't see each other for the holidays. Both my sister and I married men who were not Jewish, and so we celebrate Christmas with our in-laws now. So Thanksgiving is sort of our family holiday, and like I said, it's the only time we see each other. So usually I try and get my gifts done by Thanksgiving, but of course that chops a month off of the gift making. So this year I'm mostly making gifts for Roxy. I may make those ribbands the beaded necklace slash bracelets, the one that I showed you several podcasts ago. I'm still contemplating that. I may make those. Otherwise, I'll probably end up going with store-bought gifts this year. But Roxy needs something fun. So I am going to make another Mario the Artistic Rabbit. And this one I'm going to make for Roxy in some of my earlier kind of fluffier hand spun. And this is a 2F by hand colorway. It is one of my favorite colorways. It is flowers and football tops. And it has got pink and turquoise and kind of a milk chocolate brown and white. And I really, really, really wanted to make something for myself, but I spun this a little bit thick. It's right around 200 yards. So it's actually a little bit thinner than what I used for the other bunnies, and I'll probably go down a needle size or two, which also means the bunny will be a little bit smaller, but I think that's okay. And I can't wait to make this because I think it will be really fun for Roxy. So my goal is to knit that up this week and get that finished. And then I forgot to bring it in, but I just knit Roxy a bunch of hats, and I had about a half a skein left from one of those hats, and so I think I'm going to make her some more leggies. It's a worsted weight yarn. All of the leggies that I've made her previously have been fingering weight, and I think given that since winter is coming, and she lives in Chicago, I thought she could use a slightly heavier pair. So I'm going to go ahead and crank those out, and those will be Roxy's gifts for this season. So those are my 2 goals for the week, along with finishing the macaroon socks, although I think those will go quickly. So that brings us to spinning. I didn't have a huge amount of time to spin this week. I was out a couple nights, which means I was away from my wheel. So I had hoped to have some finished yarn to show you, but I'm not quite there yet. Last week I showed you the Julie Spins braid. It was blue-faced Leicester, and the other thing is that the braid was a little large. It was 5.9 ounces, so it's a little bit more than the usual 4 that I spin. And so I managed to get that all spun up in singles this week, and oh, it's so hard with these colors to, well, that's a little bit better. It's purples and kind of blackberry colors and some pink and a little bit of kind of a turquoisey blue and a lot of indigos and a variety of things. Actually, you know, it sounds terrible, but it makes me think of the color of a bruise. You know, like when you smack yourself somewhere and you get a good bruise and it's like kind of a rainbow technicolor. That's kind of what this reminds me of, which is really terrible. I shouldn't say that because now no one will be interested in it. But it's got so much color, and the camera can't even pick up all the different shades that are in there. But so I hope to apply that up either this evening or tomorrow and get that photographed. This will be a shop braid, and I expect that it will be it'll probably be about sport weight, which is normally what I spin, but it will have some good length because it's an extra generous braid. So I'm excited about that, which means I am ready to spin something else on my wheel this week. Pardon me, fiber down. I am a member of the Completely Twisted and Arbitrary group, CTA, on Ravelry, and they do spin-alongs in their groups. And what they do is they have a featured dyer for, I believe it's 3 months now. It used to be 2 months, but I believe it's like once per quarter. And they have the featured dyer come in. The group member, the featured dyer selects the theme that they want to stick with. Like this one was places you've always wanted to go. And then the members have several days to post photos of places that they would always want to go, inspirational photos. The group members vote on them by using the buttons on Ravelry. And the top 4 or 5 photos with the most votes get submitted to the dyers. And then the dyers select which photos they want to use of those top couple, and then dye up fiber that is sort of their interpretation of the colorway. And it's super fun. Then you can purchase the braids from the dyers. Usually you can order kind of in unlimited quantities. Usually they're dye to order. So it's really nice if it's a dyer that you haven't been able to really try before, or you've missed a lot of shop updates, so that you can get in and try a new dyer, because as long as you're a member of the group and you're purchasing for the spin along, they're usually happy to sell. And then you can spin along with the group. You can post your finished spins for a chance to win some prizes. And it's just kind of interesting seeing how everybody spins a fiber differently. I haven't been super active over in that group of late because I've been participating in other things, but I do always keep an eye on who the dyers are, and what the fibers look like. Some months are not really my cup of tea and I skip those months, and some months are really my cup of tea, and I pick some out. So this month the dyer was 2F by hand, which, as you know, is one of my favorite dyers. So I did keep an eye on it, and they got a gorgeous picture and ended up interpreting it. Again, they are 2F by hand. That's Jaylon and Mighty. And this braid was actually dyed by Mighty. The colorway name is India, and it is a superwash merino braid. So, and it's approximately 4 ounces. And the colors are just amazing. It is pinks and oranges and peaches and yellows and almost a little bit of browns or reds. I am super excited. It makes me think of like spices or saris. It's a beautiful braid, and I can't wait to spin it up. So that is going to be the next spin on the wheel. And I'm excited to see how that spins and applies up. It's just kind of a riotous color. So that is what I will be spinning this coming week. And actually I have spinning group on Sunday. I'm hosting, which means I need to clean my house. But we have a group of local spinners that meets once a month to just have a spinning afternoon at somebody's house. Everybody brings snacks. And so it's 4 hours of uninterrupted spinning. So I hope that I'll be able to ply this one up tonight and then make good headway on this one tomorrow. So maybe I'll even have 2 finished yarns to show you next week. So that kind of finishes most of the material that I brought to talk about this week. I wanted to talk a little bit about an event that is coming up. Several years ago, let me go back. I don't know if any of you have heard about NaNoWriMo. That is National Novel Writing Month, and that takes place in November. And I don't know if the parent organization actually goes by NaNoWriMo or if it is sponsored by another organization, but it has been going on for several years. And the goal is for aspiring writers to write a novel, which is defined as 50,000 words in the space from November 1st to November 30th, and submit it. And it doesn't have to be for publication. It's a goal to get yourself to write every day and to produce something in the month of November. Now, I'm not a writer and I'm not participating in NaNoWriMo. However, several years ago, and I want to say either 2010 or 2011, and I should know, but I don't, Shannon Oakey, who is Knit Girl and who runs Cooperative Press, decided that there should be something fun like that for knitters. So she started NaKniSweMo, which is National Knit a Sweater Month. And her rules were super simple. You had to cast on November 1st. You had to cast off before November 30th, or I should say you had to cast on no earlier than November 1st. You had to cast off no later than November 30th, and your sweater had to be 50,000 stitches. So those are her rules. She started a group on Ravelry. I have participated, I believe, every year since the inception, and I have gotten some great sweaters out of it. It is a challenge. It means that I need to focus on almost nothing but the sweater, which is also why you saw me say that Groovy will probably be my sock challenge next month, because I'm not sure I can take on a whole new, usually I've been knitting a pair of socks and I've got Christmas gifts and I've got other things going. Next month is really going to be for my sweater. and for finishing Groovy. And Groovy will be kind of my work project and travel project because it's so simple, and my sweater will be my home project and when I have dedicated time to sit down and knit, which is usually how I manage several projects at the same time anyway. But I'm getting totally off track. I am a moderator in the National Knit a Sweater Month group, and so I wanted to talk about it today and to encourage any of you watching who are interested in taking a challenge or who want a new winter sweater to join the group. So please consider this my invitation to you. I am not going to physically extend invitations through the Ravelry group because I don't want any of you to feel like you have to join, but I hope that you will join us if you're interested in knitting a sweater. I will say, most adult sweaters knit in worsted weight or something lighter, DK, fingering, sport, with full sleeves will count as 50,000 stitches. Now, I have a tutorial in that thread of how I do my spreadsheet math to kind of determine if my sweater is going to have 50,000 stitches. If your sweater does not have 50,000 stitches, that does not mean you shouldn't knit with us. The only thing it means is that you won't be eligible for prizes in that group. The purpose is to see if you can, is to challenge yourself and knit a sweater in a month. Prizes are just extra. And for instance, I'm a moderator in the group. I'm never eligible for prizes. So I knit a sweater anyway, just because I love knitting a sweater. And sometimes I pick something really complicated and challenging. This year, I think I'm not going to pick anything quite as challenging. It will certainly have 50,000 stitches, but I picked kind of a simpler sweater. Usually I pick something with cables or lace or something kind of really challenging. And this year I just decided with some other commitments I have going on, that's not going to be the best way to go because I don't want to spend all my nights stressing about it. Anyway, so I was going to show you what I picked, and part of the reason I chose to talk about this week is because by the next time I talk to you, either next Saturday or Sunday, it will already be November 1st or 2nd. And if you want to join us, I wanted to give you a week to kind of think about what you want to do. You may have stash yarn, you may have patterns that you wanted to knit, but this will give you a week to swatch and to see what you want to do. So my sweater pattern for this year, and I wanted to show you a picture of it, is Porphyra, which is a sweater pattern by Amy Herzog, and it is a pretty simple cardigan. It is a top-down raglan, and then it's just got a really big cozy collar. And the cardigan's long, and I like that, and I might even make it just a smidge longer because I want to wear this to work throughout the winter. And I think that will be a great addition to my wardrobe. The pattern calls for, I believe, DK weight, which I do not have, but I do have some yarn that is a very light worsted, and so I will need to swatch this week to make sure that it is what I need. But my yarn is Mipspab's Yowza. What a skein. These are her light worsted weight skeins. They are, let me pull, Yowza What a Skein 100% superwash merino, hand painted, approximately 560 yards. So, and the gauge is 4 to 5 stitches on 6 to 8 needles. So this is the black tulipa colorway. Or actually, I think it's just the tulipa colorway. And as you can see, no surprise, I like the same color family. And I actually picked a color that was kind of similar to the one that's in the photograph for the pattern. But I need to wind up my yarn. I have 3 of these, so I have quite a bit of yardage. It looks like the pattern calls for, let's see, for my size, which I'm probably going to make the size 39 for slight positive ease, is 8 balls times, it's supposed to be silky wool, so it calls for a little under 1,600 yards, which is what I have. So this is what I'm going to be winding and swatching this week to make sure that I hit gauge. And then I will wind up the other balls and I will happily cast on next Saturday, November 1st. So if you are interested in joining us or have questions, please check out the NaKniSweMo group, NaKniSweMo